Hi, I'm Suzanne from TVMEG.com. How are you guys?
Very
Hi,
nice to meet
Suzanne.
you.
Yes, you too. Sorry, I was doing dishes. I said, yeah, 10 minutes.
So are we. It's that's crazy. How ironic.
So, Todd, how did you come up with the idea to take this old sci-fi book and make it into a TV series?
I got tracked down by a producer named Michael Phillips who had optioned the book in 1976 after he'd produced Taxi Driver, The Sting, and Close Encounters of the Third Kind in a row
Wow.
in his late 20s. And he just thought, I'm unstoppable. I'm going to do Earth Abides as a movie. And after 25 years of trying that and being unsuccessful, he gave up. He gave
Wow.
up until he was introduced to me, and we sat down and thought maybe this is a television series. And now the time became ripe after all those years, because TV really is the place where all this kind of storytelling has migrated. And the book was too big to be a movie. That's why they kept running aground. So I wound up with this wonderful opportunity. And fortunately, Michael Phillips knew someone named Kearie Peak. And
Okay.
then that made things coalesce. And here we are talking to you.
Okay, speaking of Kearie, what did you do on the show? What in a nutshell, what was your job and your duties?
Oh, good Lord.
That's a lot.
Oh, well, I worked on it from development all the way through. We're still in post right now. So I would say while Todd was really in charge of story, you had to have somebody behind with the nuts and the bolts, making sure that everything stayed on its time schedule. All the themes were addressed, from the wardrobe to hair and makeup for aging effects, visual effects, the decay of the world. Um, and, through post right now, working on sound, music, the visual effects, color correction, list goes on.
Right. Well, I saw 6 episodes. They looked good, and I enjoyed it.
You saw all six. They're not finished yet. Yeah.
That's okay. I'm used to it. I'll put the bad closed captioning on the browser and try to hear and figure out what they're saying.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No, it's not your fault. That's common. My hearing is a problem. So, if the show is renewed for season 2, do you have an idea where to go with it, or is this going to be it?
I think it would be kind of a miracle if they wanted to do a second season. But what I've always said is, because we have this coda at the end where he gives over the hammer and it's 50 years later, that it certainly leaves us with the possibility to slide anywhere in that space
Sure.
between, from them contacting the people at Point Lobo at the end and then all the way up to that hammer pass. There's space for storytelling there.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I wouldn't start the story where we leave off. In a perfect world where this goes on, and just to be clear, it was definitely defined to be a mini series. But if I could go back, it would leave off right where they contacted the others.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seemed to me more like a mini series because it covers basically the book, right? But
Yeah.
are there parts of the book that you left out that you might put into a second season?
Yeah.
What, Kearie? Do tell. You,
That's
you you volunteered a big yes.
Oh, no.
My answer was no.
funny.
That's all right. That makes for a good
Yeah.
partnership.
And then you,
Everything where we didn't meet the others, everything where it left off and this new society was just coming into itself, and it was having to start to deal with moral issues, ethical issues. How do you deal when there's more people in a society, when children are starting to grow up, and all of a sudden it isn't as simple? And how do you not slide back into tribalism, but take the lessons from the past and the technology that works and move it forward? It would be a really fun world to explore, how to take what we've learned about working with the environment into the
Mhm.
future.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I could see, since you jumped so far ahead at the end, there's a lot of space in there where you could put anything, basically. Well, it ends up the same way. And you could have the same cast pretty much. So,
Exactly. That was the other thing. We could keep the same cast.
That's
and
great.
if you didn't want the same cast, you just pick up where you left off and go from there. So you could do it either way.
I mean, television storytelling has changed so radically that you really can go anywhere. You look at all these Star Trek shows, and they starred 5 years later, 10 years later, 1,000 years earlier. but people are compelled by the characters. Story is only characters. So yes, it's the environment. Yes, it's the world and starting over, but really it's about these people doing those things. And that's why we fall in love with the show.
And that's what I love about TV. It's more character focused usually than story focused, which I love. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you talking to me. It's all the time I got.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Suzanne.
All right, bye, Suzanne.
Great
Thank you.
job.
Bye.